Yep. Okay. So here's the thing. These are the hidden secret ways that most people don't know about when it comes to being found disabled. You can use these to be found disabled the first time, or you can use them in case of a CDR to be found disabled down the line as well. What are they? There are three very rare, very secretive, although they're not going to be super rare in the future, but they're very rare, very secretive, interesting ways to be found disabled where the SSA has carved out of its statutes, carved out of its program operations, small little ways in which people can go ahead and basically get disability benefits. So these are rare, and there's three of them. There's three ways to go ahead and be found disabled on this really unique method. Now, they are called special medical vocational profiles. Now, you know how a lot of people talk about being found disabled and they're like, well, it's all about the medical. It's kinda. It's more about not being able to work. That's how you get the easier, lesser finding of disability benefits. But remember, this is a pass-fail test, right? You get found fully favorable. You're fully favorable. It doesn't matter if you got a compassion allowance listing or a vocational allowance. But, just to give you the layout, compassion allowance listing, grid out, vocational allowance. All right, so bottom line is, what are these things? Here we go. Specifically, DI 25010.001, special medical vocational profiles. These special medical vocational profiles set forth in DI 25010.001B lists combinations of the vocational factors of age, education, and work experience that are so unfavorable that an individual who meets one of them will be deemed to be unable to adjust to other work and therefore be found disabled at step 5 of the sequential evaluation process. So you got to go through element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But these kick in at element 5, and they help beat the crushing element, the cleaver element, right? The one that kicks most people out of the option of being found disabled. These give you the fast track to actually being found disabled during step 5 of the 5-step sequential process. Now, consider whether a profile applies only after finding that a claimant cannot do any past relevant work, because the profiles only require that a claimant have a severe impairment, and because an incorrect decision might otherwise result, it is important to consider whether a profile applies before referring to medical vocation guidelines DI 25025.005. So what they're saying here, let me give it real quickly. Because the profiles only require the claimant have a severe impairment, and because an incorrect decision might otherwise result, it is important to consider whether a profile applies before referring to the medical vocational guidelines. Now, consider whether a profile applies only after finding that a claimant cannot do any past relevant work. What is past relevant work? We call it PRW. Element 4 is, can the claimant do their past relevant work, the work that they've done within the past 15 years? Oh, but wait, the rule is about to change on the 8th. And what is today? The 6th. So in 2 days, 2 days, the rule will officially change to only the past 5 years. Now, I'm doing these because I didn't remember to use one of these in a hearing. And a judge in California saw the opportunity to use it, and used it. And he gave me a hint in the beginning. It wasn't a direct hint, but he gave me a hint in the beginning, and I just didn't tune into it because I was shooting for a grid out. And the next video we're going to be doing about is how the entire industry of disability benefits is about to massively change based on one of these. I'm not going to go into the details of how it is in this video, but the next video, you're going to literally see how there's going to be a lot of people falling within one of these that are going to be found disabled in the future. It's going to be the new keystone going forward. All right, here we go. Policy principles. So you got it, right? Element 1, element 2, element 3, element 4. You got to do those. But then whether or not they can do any other job in the national economy, don't need it. Don't need it. We just need one of these 3. Here we go. Number 1, arduous, unskilled work as a special medical vocational profile. What is arduous, unskilled work? I pulled it for you because I knew you guys would ask. This is from Program Operation Manual System, POMS, DI 25001.001. All right, arduous work. What is it? Diana Fernandez, thank you for the dollar donation. That's awesome. Very, very good. Good to see you there. Let me give a little click on that. Very cool. Excellent. So arduous work is physical work requiring a high level of strength and endurance No specific physical action or exertional level denotes arduous work. Such work may be arduous if it demands a great deal of stamina, such as repetitive bending or lifting at a very fast pace. For additional information on this, go see DI 25010.001B1. Perfect. All right. Arduous, unskilled work. So we're talking about simple work. We're talking about SVP 1 and 2 work, okay? Tara Denise, very cool. Thank you for the 99-cent donation. That's absolutely awesome. Very cool. So here we go. Arduous, unskilled work. A finding of disabled will be made for persons who, so here's the elements. Here's what you need to know. Are not working at SGA level. So you're earning under 1550 and you repetitively, continuously earn under every month, 1550 per month. Number 2, have a history of 35 years of more of arduous, unskilled work. So 35 years or more of arduous, unskilled work. So basically you spent your life in jobs like construction or heavy commercial cleaning or heavy machine operators, stuff like that, right? Really difficult. The jobs just wear your body out. Now, remember, there's other places, on Earth where people are found disabled faster or they're found retired faster if they did blue collar jobs their entire life. This is the SSA's version of that. This is the arduous, unskilled work, special medical vocational profile for an allowance. So you got to have 35 years of doing that job. Number 3, can no longer perform this past arduous work because of severe impairments. So you did it for 35 plus years. You cannot do it anymore. Okay. Element 4, have no more than a marginal education, right? Marginal education. I think they might actually have that. And let me see if they actually have that in here. Hold on. I might be able to define that for you or pull up a quick definition if you want. Hold on. Marginal education. Because I think they did change all the education standards recently. Let me see if I can find it over here. Hold on. If not, I'll do a quick computer search to give you the exact definition of the SSA marginal education. We're almost there. We're at the O's. Now we're at the O's. We're still at the O's. Let's get up to the M's. O's. There's the N's. We're at the N's. Let's get to the O's. Let's see. We got material discrepancy, maximum sustained work capacity, medium work. Nope. All right. So let me go over here. We need marginal. Okay. This is element 4. Marginal. Education. One sec here. I'll pull up the exact definition to give it to you. SSA marginal education definition. Cool. All right. Marginal education means ability in reasoning, arithmetic, and language skills that are needed to do simple, unskilled types of jobs. We generally consider that formal schooling at a 6th grade level or less is a marginal education. Potential of illiteracy here. Okay. So think 6th grade or less. And remember, too, that's not just what they actually graduated from. Because remember, a lot of people that go into, Tara Denise with the extra $1.99. Super appreciate it. That's awesome. Very cool. Let's see. She said, hearing was today. Judge, can't say his name, didn't have to testify. Well, very good. Very good. Very good. I don't see any questions from you, but if you do, put them at the bottom. So here's the deal. If you worked doing construction-oriented jobs for essentially 35 years, right? And basically you don't have, you can't do that job anymore, and you have 6th grade or less education, you get found disabled. And here's why. That person is not likely to learn how to do other types of jobs in the national economy going forward because they haven't had to learn how to learn things. They haven't had to have a higher level of education, higher level of analytical skills. So therefore, you can't teach somebody who's been in those types of construction jobs, new jobs at those older ages. Because remember, if you're working a field for 35 years, you're going to be older at that point. All right. So that is, very simply put, of all the 3, number 1. So number 1 is that. Number 2, no work experience. Okay. No work experience. Actually, let me go back. Hold on. Let me read you the note right here. This is for arduous, unskilled work. They give you a note. This provision would not necessarily be defeated by short periods of semi-skilled or skilled work if no transferable skills exist, or by longer periods of semi-skilled and skilled work if it is clear that the skill acquired is not readily transferable to lighter work. It makes no meaningful contribution to an individual's ability to do any work within his or her present functional capacity. So what the saying is, you can do a little bit of semi-skilled and skilled work in between, but if it's not for prolonged periods, or they're saying exists, but if it's not a prolonged period where you rely on it, you can transfer it to other things. If it's not one of those things where you went in that direction, you made a career out of it, then it won't defeat your ability to go ahead and get this particular type of fast approval. Okay, this specific medical vocational, special medical vocational approval. Now let's go over to number two. Number two, no work experience. Now, this one I'm going to go through in the next video is going to change the landscape of Social Security. It is, because they just changed another rule, which is going to massively open up this one for most future approvals in particular categories. Let's go into it. No work experience requires a finding of disabled will be made for persons who, 1, have a severe impairment, 2, have no past relevant work within the 15-year period, which is now being brought down to 5 years, 3, are age 55 or older, 4, have no more than a limited education. So let me give you the exact definition so I can read it for you perfectly. Okay, no more than a limited education means ability in reasoning, arithmetic, and language skills, but not enough to allow a person with these educational qualifications to do most of the more complex job duties needed in semi-skilled or skilled jobs. Okay, so let's build it up a little bit more. Now remember, you got illiteracy, you got marginal education, you got limited education, and then you got high school education, right? So when you hear limited education, I want you to think 7th grade to 11th grade level. But remember with this, it's not what you actually graduated from. It's where you're actually at mentally. So a lot of people are like, I went to 10th grade. Well, did you pass through 10th grade? No, I only completed 9th grade. All right, well, if you did 9th grade, do you think you're at a 9th grade level? Well, not really. They pushed me through. You go get the person tested, you find out where they're at, and that's the mental level that you're dealing with. So in the future, you're going to see a lot more basic, tests to see where people are on the scale. And remember, illiteracy, we're talking about, inability to read and write. Marginal education, we're talking up to a 6th grade education. Limited education, 7th to 11th education. And of course, high school degree is your 12th, 12th grade. And then above that is, of course, your college degrees, and you get your master's degrees, your doctorate degrees, your postdoctorate degrees, and then you reach the terminal nth of the degrees in that particular field. All right, so let's keep rolling through this. Diana Fernandez, thank you for the dollar donation. That's awesome. Very, very cool. Love it, love it. Very good. Now, this thing right here, I'm going to give you a little hint as to what the next video is going to be about and why this rule is going to take over. I mean take over when finding people disabled. Okay? This rule is going to be very aggressive to take over because have no past relevant work. Well, think about it. If they used to look at the past 15 years, there were a lot of opportunities in 15 years for you to find past relevant work that you've done continuously, repetitively, gotten paid to do it, etc. You earned over $4 or $5 grand doing it, past relevant work. But now that they've reduced it to 5 years, there's unlikely to be that many jobs within the past 5-year period where, frankly, you could have had a bunch of little junky jobs here, little junky jobs there. Now, this is going to be a rule that heavy caters to SSI people, unless, the next video, we'll go through the unless. So again, no work experience. This is number 2 of the types of magical, amazing ways to be found disabled using these special medical vocational profiles. Here we go. No work experience, have a severe impairment, have no past relevant work within the past now 5 years, okay, because the rule's changing in 2 days, and be age 55 and older and have no more than a limited education. Note, it is not necessary to complete a residual functional capacity form to determine that an individual meets this profile, since he or she will have no past relevant work to compare to the RFC findings on a function-by-function basis. All right, now we go to the third one. This is the final one of these special vocational, medical vocational options that you could potentially be found disabled under. They're super duper important because when they pop up, you want to use them. Okay, they're definitely a good chess game option. All right, here we go real quick. Let's get into it. The lifetime commitment approval. the lifetime commitment approval. Okay, a finding of disabled will be made for persons who, number one, are not working at SGA level, and two, have a lifetime commitment, 30 years or more, to a field of work that is unskilled or skilled or semi-skilled, but with no transferable skills, right? You can't transfer those skills to another type of job. Can no longer perform this past work because of severe impairments and are closely approaching retirement age 60 or older, and have no more than a limited education. All right, so let's go through that real quick. Let me give you the profile of the person that would fit this thing, okay? All right, so they're not working at SGA level. They're not earning $15.50 per month. And real quick, Billy Gilbert, thank you for joining the members. It's absolutely awesome. Tara Denise, wow, that's cool. Did a $4.99 donation. That's absolutely amazing. Let me put a little heart on there. Let's see. She said, went off record with the attorney because judge asked to change onset date from 11/21, which was on mental health, to car accident, 7/23. Lost back pay, but approved. That's good. Hey, an approval is an approval. You know, look, it's better to walk out of the hearing knowing that you've got the check coming and you have the health insurance. So, in that instance, hey, I'm very proud to hear that you're going in the right direction with that. That's excellent. Rose L with the $5 donation. Very, very cool. Love the little little fox right there. That's awesome. Very cool. So here's what you need to know. This lifetime commitment person, they're not earning $15.50 per month, right? That's number one. They've worked in a field for 30 years. And remember, they can change like job names and positions within that field. It's one of those things where basically they kept growing through that field. They were devoted to that particular field. They can no longer perform the job that they had with that field. They are closely approaching retirement age. So basically age 60 or older. So this is for people who are, 60, 61, 62, that kind of area, right? Have no more than a limited education, right? A limited education. So let's go back to the educations. You've got illiterate, you've got marginal, you've got limited, you've got high school diploma, you've got college, master's, doctorate, postdoctorate, terminal nth of the degrees that you can get for that field. So again, limited education, you're thinking about somebody who's got an education the 7th to 11th grade. Okay, that's what you're going to be looking for, somebody in that regard. Now, if we look at these, let me read you the note first. This is important. To satisfy the requirement for this profile, the 30 years of lifetime commitment work does not have to be at one job or for one employer, but rather work in one field of very similar nature. If the person has a history of working 30 years or more in one field of work, the use of this profile will not be precluded by the fact that the person also has work experience in other fields, so long as that work experience in other fields is not past relevant work, which the person is still able to perform. So let's go back and take a look at these. These are the special medical vocational profiles. Let's walk it through. Okay. The first one, arduous unskilled work. Okay. Elements. They're not working at SGA, so they're earning under $15.50. They have a history of 35 years of arduous work, construction jobs, stuff like that. They can no longer perform this past work, right? Because their body's worn out. And they have no more than a marginal education. Marginal education is right above illiteracy. So we're thinking about up to a 6th grade education, stuff like that. So they can read and write, but not super well. Next one, number 2, no work experience. Okay, they have a severe impairment, have no past relevant work, they're age 55 or older, and they have no more than a limited education. So now we're talking, instead of a 6th grader, we're talking about a 7th to 11th grade education, right? The no work experience. So the way we look at this is we have grid outs where they will approve people if they're illiterate, right? Even if they're younger, even if they're, 50 years old, stuff like that. Then we got another one right over here, which is basically the arduous work. So if they beat their body up for 35 years, they can be found disabled in the arduous work, special medical vocational profile. Then we have the no work experience option, which is for the 55 plus year old people, right? That one shows that basically they've got a limited education and they can't get another job because that's the job they've always done. So they'll find them disabled. And then the final one is the lifetime commitment, where they make a commitment to a field. They've been doing it for 30 years. They're not working $15.50 per month, or they're earning less than that, and they're closely approaching age, retirement, which means they're 60, 61, 62, in that kind of area, and they have no more than a limited education. So we're talking 7th to 11th grade. All right, now you guys know what are the really, really interesting going forward, medical profiles that people can be found disabled in who are basically upwards in that 50, 55, 60 territory. Because remember, you're going to get some younger people who basically have really beat up their body and hit 50, and they've done 35 years in construction. Now, with that said, I'm excited about the next video because I'm going to show you why in the future you're going to be seeing a lot of people going through one of these in particular, because it opened up something that I did not see for this hearing. The judge saw it and I didn't see it. And the judge was going to wait until the rule changed because then they can use it to approve it. Diane Fernandez, thank you for the $1 donation. That's awesome. And there's Marjan. Very cool. Very cool with the ice cream cone, the 99-cent donation. That's awesome. And then Diane Fernandez again with the 99-cent donation. Very cool. Very, very cool. And I see Tara again. Everyone take a moment of silence and hit that love button. I agree. Hit that heart button. Hit it, hit it. Please remember to like and subscribe. Also, go to Google, type in disability resolution, and go ahead, throw some reviews up there. I love waking up to see those reviews. Now, please remember, I go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. When you call in, you get about 5 to 7 minutes. No story mode. Use a fake name. Have your legal question ready. If you need more time for me to figure something out, there's a contract below. You fill it out. You send it in. You send the payment, and you can buy a whole hour of time, and I'll figure out and walk you through what to do. With that said, I will catch you at the next video, and I'll see you in about 15 minutes, maybe less, maybe about 10 minutes, and we'll go from there. But the next video I'm really excited about. All right, I'll catch you soon, guys. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.